Hello, one and all. I'm back once again to talk about watching this upcoming anime season of Winter 2022. And first off, we have Demon Slayer, which is actually a few episodes in. It started a while ago. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It hasn't been a real big priority for me because the first few episodes were just a retelling of the movie, which was definitely a weird choice on their part. I mean, why make a movie at all if you're just gonna make it part of season 2? That was weird. That was really, really weird. I mean, I guess they're doing it this way because they're afraid that people didn't watch the movie, won't understand what's going on in the second season, but seriously? I mean, a lot of people watched that movie, and I feel like they could have just recapped the important parts of the movie in like an episode or two instead of taking up so much of, the season to actually do it. So, like I said, a really, really weird choice on their part, but I am still excited to see the rest of the season. I mean, the Entertainment District arc is so good, and the conclusion is just, such an amazing battle. I cannot freaking wait for it. Plus, the entire thing is just this great mixture of, heartbreaking and hilarious that Demon Slayer somehow manages to pull off time and time again. So good for them. Anyway, next off we have Attack on Titan, the final season part 2. And this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting. For those of you who don't know, the ending of the manga was rather controversial. There were a lot of fans who were very, very unhappy with how things wrapped up, and I am hoping the anime does a better job of telling the story. I mean, I'm not looking for an entirely new ending. I feel like the ending we got was the most logical one based on everything that happened beforehand, but I am really just hoping the anime explains things better because there were just so many things in the last two chapters that were so poorly explained. I still don't know exactly what happened. I'm still not entirely sure how to feel about the ending of the series because I didn't actually understand the ending of the series because so many things were just, vaguely explained, like, oh, it happened that way because this person wanted it that way. Who is this person? Why did it have to happen this way? What the freak are you talking about? So yeah, I think if the anime just better explains things, we'll be left with an ending that fans are much happier with. But anyway, moving on, then we have, Irregular Season 2. I am so excited about this. For those you don't know, actually a number of videos, I think 6 videos, wow, that's a lot, covering all the cut content they cut out from the first season of this anime, and God, I love the story. I love the story. I mean, so many fans complain, oh, the CGI was awful, the CGI was awful. The CGI wasn't even close to being this anime's worst problem. I mean, they rushed through 4 freaking volumes of the series, and doing so, they cut out so much amazing storyline, character development, character growth, just so many great moments. It's actually heartbreaking. I read the light novel, and I almost cried because so much of that I wanted to see animated, and now we just never will. And I'm really hoping, season 2 does better, and people seem to be optimistic. I mean, I'm sorting here by popularity, and Irregular ranks 3rd. Of everything coming out next season, Irregular is the 3rd most popular, so yeah, even with all the anime's faults, even with all the faults of the first season, fans are still excited, fans still loved it, and they're hoping second season does an even better job, and so am I. I mean, from what I've seen from the trailers, the CGI looks leaps and bounds better than season 1 did, and it looks like, as best I can tell from the trailers, they're only covering volumes 5 and 6, so 2 volumes instead of 4, and while those 2 volumes are incredibly thick, and a whole lot happens in them, I don't think the anime will have any problem telling their story in 12 or 13 episodes. I mean, there is still a lot they cut out from, the first season they need to explain in the second season, so that might be a bit of an issue, but I am optimistic. I am certainly optimistic. And like I said, given how popular it is on this chart, it seems like a lot of other people are excited as well, so that is the one series this season I can promise you that I will be covering, and I cannot freaking wait for it. And as I said, it seems like they're only adapting volumes 5 and 6 light novel, which is really great because volume 6 is one of the most action-packed volumes in the entire series, and it would be such a great way to end the second season and probably the anime as a whole. I mean, I'm very excited for this. It seems very popular, but I don't really see them getting a 3rd season unless, season 2 just really blows everyone out the water. I could see them getting a movie, though. That would be fun, because Volume 7 is kind of separate from the rest of the series. I mean, it's relevant to what's going on, but it could be rather easily skipped without too much issue, so yeah, having that volume become a movie would make a lot of sense. It's its own self-contained story. It would be so much fun to see that, on the big screen, but that's really my fantasy for the series. Season 2 is going to be so popular, they're going to get a movie, which will adapt one of my favorite volumes in the entire freaking series. Unlikely, very unlikely, but I can hope. I can certainly hope. Anyway, then we have How Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom Part 2. I'm also very excited for this one. I really did enjoy watching the first season. I've read the manga, but the manga is going rather slowly, and just based on what I saw in the trailer for part 2, it seems like they're going to go way, way past where the manga currently is. Yeah, that was a weird moment for me. The trailer for part 2 of this anime actually spoiled the manga for me. Oh, I did not see that coming, but I can't wait for it. Things are going to get very, very interesting. Season 1 ended. Well, I guess I shouldn't talk about it if anyone hasn't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely recommend watching it. The anime definitely cut out a lot of important things. I saw a lot of fans online who read Light Novel who were very disappointed. I have not, but just based on what I saw in the manga, it's clear a lot was cut out. So that's definitely on my to-read list at some point down the road. I have a very, very lengthy to-read list right now. Alright, moving on. Alright, next up we have World Ends Harem, which, yeah, not my particular cup of tea. Basically, 99.9% of men on the planet are killed by a virus, and now for every man, they need to have a harem of 5 billion women, which, yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's definitely going to be probably the most controversial anime this season, so I'm not going to watch it, but I'm very excited to see just the outrage and shock over the series. Oh, that'll be fun. That's always fun. And then we have The Strongest Age with the Weakest Crest. This basically follows the protagonist who is limited by his very weak magical crest, so he decides to reincarnate into the future, where hopefully he'll have a better crest. And he does! He gets the best crest! Yay! But unfortunately, by the time he actually reaches the future, the strongest crest is now considered the weakest crest, and magic has devolved so badly that even children from his era could kick the butt of the strongest mage in the current era. So, yeah, he basically has to reintroduce magic to the world and explain to them why the weakest crest is actually the strongest crest. This is a weirdly common genre in manga. I've seen quite a few series that follow the premise of main character reincarnates into the future, hoping to get stronger magic than he had in the past. And this also just follows the trope of the protagonist being just so stupidly, ridiculously broken that no one is really much of a challenge for him at all. And maybe some big bosses down the road, but in the beginning, he just can basically, flick his wrist and wipe out anyone. And the big sell of this anime is basically just everyone being completely and utterly shocked every time the protagonist does anything. Every time he casts a spell that, has been lost for centuries, or, manages to enchant something more than once, which makes it a national treasure. So yeah, he basically just wows everyone time and time again. An absolute power fantasy, but it's pretty funny, and I would recommend it just for the laughs. And then we have the Irregular at Magic High School Reminiscence arc. This one's pretty good, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't actually watched the second season of Irregular, but I have read this part of the manga. It's definitely interesting because we start off with the sister, I can't remember her name, basically being afraid, not really all that close to the brother who she's in love with in the main series. So it's definitely an interesting ride seeing how those feelings for her brother changed throughout this arc. It's being listed as a TV special that's an hour and 11 minutes long. It probably wouldn't be worth watching for a full season, but for, a small movie, a short movie, I definitely think that's worth the watch. Apparently it already came out. I haven't seen it online yet, so I may have to dig around for that. Definitely worth a watch in my opinion. Okay, now we have another one I'm really excited about. The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Oh, this is fun. This will be a lot of fun. Now, so many people online are comparing this to Realist Hero, calling it a ripoff of Realist Hero, and that just ticks me off so much because it really isn't. First off, it is not isekai. Secondly, it is not a fantasy series. No magic, no magical creatures. It's all, fairly earth logic, earth science, stuff like that, in a kind of medieval setting. And probably most importantly, the protagonist is not trying to save his kingdom, he's trying to commit treason. The full title of this series is The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt by Committing Treason. Basically, our protagonist just really, really doesn't want to be a prince. It is exhausting. There's so much paperwork. There's so much work. He just doesn't want to deal with it. So his plan is basically to betray his own kingdom, sell them out to another nation, and then retire and then go live a happy life on some tropical island somewhere. And the truly hilarious part of this is that he fails. He fails time and time again. Every single time he tries to fail, he ends up succeeding spectacularly, somehow making his nation wealthier, more powerful, more prosperous, while trying to betray them. And it is just absolutely freaking hilarious just seeing him fail time and time again. And he's not a dumb prince. He's not an idiot who just, keeps making mistakes. I mean, the title is a genius prince. He is a complete and absolute genius. Way more than realist hero. Seriously, this dude knows the name of every single soldier in his army. An army of 10,000. He knows all of them. He knows their lives. He's memorized everything without even really trying. He is a bona fide 100% genius without any doubt. And really, I would recommend this. It's probably going to be one of the funniest anime of this season. And then finally, we have In the Land of Ladle, In the Land of Ladle, which basically follows a young girl who gets in a terrible accident and then spends, the rest of her life on life support playing the VR MMORPG Ladle, one of those. And then one day her life support fails and she dies. Oh no! But she finds herself reincarnated into the fantasy world, into the virtual world of the game she was playing, but 200 years in the future, and still playing as her same old character, and she decides to go on a rather chill adventure throughout the world. I mean, I've read the manga for this, but it doesn't really dive too far into the series. And as far as I can tell, there's really no big bad threat for her to face. I mean, she is ridiculously OP and broken. And again, this is one of those series where magic seems to have died out over the centuries for some reason. Seriously, for some reason, magic always seems to die as people advance technology. That's a very strange trope in a lot of series. But anyway, like I said, she's ridiculously broken, she's incredibly powerful, and she can basically do whatever she wants. And so she decides to go on an adventure, traveling across the land, and finding her children. Yeah, that's another really, really weird point in the series. She has 3 children, basically NPCs, who she adopted when she was playing the game virtually, and now 20 years in the future, she has to go track them down to figure out what they're up to. And it's not like this big, huge, epic quest that takes her years of her life to find them. No, they're all in the same spot. She finds them very, very quickly. We see all of them in the trailer. So, yeah, like the thing says, a very chill adventure filled with laughter and tears, ? So yeah, it definitely has kind of a slice of life vibe to it rather than some sort of big, epic narrative. And the first episode actually premiered yesterday, day before, whatever. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, though it's definitely on my list. I'm excited to see what the anime does and just see, what story it tells. Because like I said, the manga has only gotten us so far, and I'm assuming the anime is going to go well past that. And yeah, those are my thoughts on what I'll be watching this anime season. Obviously, I didn't cover everything, but I don't have a lot of free time. Honestly, even just when it comes to the series I mentioned in this video, I probably won't have time to watch all of them. Obviously, our Fureta is very, very high on my list because, like I said, I am going to plan on covering that. I'm planning on doing more cut content videos for that. Hopefully, my cut content videos won't have to be quite so long. Seriously, I made 5 videos, each of which was about an hour long, summarizing everything that was cut out of the first season. My videos actually had more runtime than the entire first season did, God above. I talked a lot. I talked a whole bunch. I'm amazed I didn't lose my voice. But hopefully, like I said, they're going to cut out a lot less in Season 2. They're going to have better CGI. They're going to actually be able to explain the characters better, show their emotions, show their feelings. I mean, Shia and Yui just felt like they were so at odds in the first season, but in the light novel, they were really, really close and became basically sisters by the time the first season would have ended. So hopefully Season 2 shows that a little bit better. What else am I really focused on? Realist Hero, obviously, that's going to be important to me. Attack on Titan, obviously, I'm going to watch that one. I will probably do a video to cover the final episode, to compare it to the manga and see which ending I preferred. Strongest Sage has a watch. I feel like I might end up watching the highlights of that on YouTube, seeing everybody shocked, all the incredible magic he casts. Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Death, that's a very, very important series to me, and I'm very excited to actually watch that. The manga's actually rather slow. Like, each chapter of the manga is only like 5 or 6 pages, so hopefully, the anime manages to move past that, and I get to see some new storylines, some new content. Yay! Land of Ladle, I would like to say that's important to me, but I still haven't watched the first episode, so I can't really say that right now. I'm hoping, like I said, with Raising a Nation Out of Death, this series will actually manage to go past the manga, and we get to see some new storyline and content. Those are my thoughts on the winter 2022 anime season. Please leave us down below. Which series are you most excited for watching? Are there any ones on this list that I missed? I mean, I only really focus on the ones I already knew about, the ones I was excited about, and World Ends Harem, which I mentioned briefly. But please leave us down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you next video. And until then, peace!